Hello, and today I'm going to show you how to build this functional Lego workbench with a working vice clamp. This includes a realistic mechanism that allows you to gradually open and close the built-in vice by turning a handle on the side, which allows you to make precise adjustments to the size of the clamp's opening. This makes it easy to secure a variety of different size objects, like this plank of wood, for example. All you have to do is position it in the clamp and spin the handle to lock it into place. So now it's all secured and ready to saw. This is a really smooth mechanism, and when you're done, you can simply twist the handle the other way to release it. And if we make it a bit bigger, we can even fit an entire Lego brick inside the vice. So if we just position that carefully and lock that into place, you can see how even a full-size brick fits perfectly within the jaws of the clamp, which is really quite impressive considering the size of the mechanism. This is a really fun and versatile design, and it even includes other details such as a wall to attach all of your tools, a shelf full of small component trays, and even an air compressor hidden under the workbench. Plus, you can build this in different colours to suit whatever style of garage or workshop that you have. Your minifigures are definitely gonna love this one. So let's get started and take a look at how to build it. We'll build this in two parts, and here's what you're gonna need to build the first half of the workbench. So once you've collected your pieces, we can begin by taking a 1x8 plate and a 1x6 plate and clipping that in the middle. Then two of these modified 1x4 plates with the tiles in the middle and clipping them on either side, and attaching a couple of regular 1x1 plates underneath of that. These will act as the feet of the workbench. So we can secure that in place with another 1x8 plate, nice and strong there. And then take three of these 1x1 Technicolor bricks and place them at the back there, spaced out. First 2 studs apart and then 1 stud apart on that side. Then in between these two, this is where you're going to want to place your 1x2 modified brick with the studs on the side. And then we can also insert these Technic half pins into these Technicolor bricks. Just clip them along each one, all facing the same direction. And now along here, we can attach our 1x6 Technic half beam piece, and that should be a very secure connection attached to all 5 of these attachment points. And we can finish this section off by attaching 4 1x1 bricks on each of the corners, and these will act as the legs of the workbench. And then we'll add a couple of these 1x1 plates to the front 2 legs, just 1 on each leg, to bring that up to the correct height. And we can put that assembly aside for the time being. So next we're going to want to build the mechanism that the working vice will be operated with. So this will use a cone and a pneumatic T-bar piece, as well as a 1x3 Technic axle with the stud attachment, one of these worm gear pieces that can slide on to the axle, and this whole thing can be attached to the rest of the build. Just hold it in place and secure that with a Technic half bush piece, and that will allow you to control the vice with a very similar mechanism that you'd find in the real life version. Next up, we can build the table surface. So this will use a 2x4 plate and this modified 2x2 plate with the tile surface over there. Then we can take a 1x2 ingot piece and a regular 1x2 tile, and this can be attached to the right hand side of the workbench. And then for the surface over on the left, we can take a 1x4 plate and a 4x4 plate and secure them together with a 1x2 tile in the bottom corner like that, along with a 1x3 tile there, a couple of 1x1 tiles on either side on the top, along with a few more of these ingot pieces, and the reason that I'm using those is to give this work surface a bit of texture and make it seem like it's got some chips and dents, that it's really been used and is not just a brand new workbench. So then attach a 1x2 plate at the back and a 1x2 tile in light grey here, and that will match the colour of the component shelves that we'll build later on. And then finally add this 1x1 round tile with the bar attachment into the gap in the centre. And once that's complete, this is all ready to be attached to the top of the other side of the workbench. So just clip that down on both sides, and that's looking nice and lined up. And now all that's left to do is to add in the top part of the vise. So this will just use a 1x4 Technic gear piece and a 1x1 bracket to act as the end of the vise. And you can already start to see how if you turn the handle, that will start to bring the vise forward. But we will need a top part to go over that and finish it up, which we will find out how to build next. And here are the rest of the pieces you'll need to build the second and final half of your Lego workbench. And this time we'll begin by building the compressor, which will use this 2x2 modified plate along with a 1x1 bracket and a regular 1x1 plate on the other side. And then you can attach a dial or gauge piece, if you have one, to the end here, along with a 2x2 inverted boat stud piece and a 2x2 rounded plate over on the top. Then to build out the middle of the air compressor, we can use a 2x2 plate and a 2x2 brick, along with a 2x2 jumper plate and a satellite dish piece to finish off the end there. Next up, we'll build the component shelves, which will use a 2x3 plate and a 3x3 plate on top of that, along with a 1x1 inverted bracket and a 1x2 inverted bracket next to that, with a 1x3 tile to smooth that all off and finish that off nicely. Next, we'll add this 2x2 bracket piece to the bottom, along with a 2x2 corner panel piece and a 1x1 corner panel piece next to that. And that will create a neat little shelf design, which is all ready for us to stick our plastic component trays onto, which you can see is basically made out of these 1x1 headlight brick pieces and 1x1 slopes, which is a really simple but effective design that's instantly recognisable. And you'll also want to assemble one extra component tray for when we put it all together later on. Finally, it's time to build the tool storage area, so this will use a 2x2 corner plate along with a 1x2 tile and a 1x1 inverted bracket piece, along with a regular 1x1 tile which will act as the back of your vice clamp. So make sure that matches the same colour as the front for the best effect. So next we can add a 1x4 plate on top of that and fill in the gaps underneath with a couple of 1x1 plates like that, along with 3 of these 1x1 bricks with the clips on them that will go along there, and a third 1x1 plate just to finish off the space on the side. Now to add a bit more texture and create a wooden feel, I've used these masonry bricks just flipped around the back like that, as well as another 1x1 brick with the clip on it just underneath that piece. Then you can add a second masonry brick to the top, along with a regular 1x1 brick, and just basically build up this side with this 1x2 horizontal clip plate and a regular 1x1 plate, and then that can be finished off with a 1x4 and a 1x1 tile. And now you're all ready to attach your tools. And now it's time to join everything together. So first we'll start by attaching the air compressor, and this will attach to those two anti-studs, not quite on the edge, but just in the middle of that 4x4 plate, just like that. And then for the component tray shelf, that will obviously go in this empty space here. And this is where you can take that 1x1 round tile and use that as the attachment point for this loose component tray, which I've just positioned as if someone's got it off the shelf and is currently searching through all the parts inside that. And then this wall can go at the back to neatly fill in the gap. And with that, your Lego workbench is complete. And as I mentioned at the start, you can have a go at building this in some different colours because it really looks cool and can look even better depending on the theme of the garage or workshop that you have this in. So I hope you enjoyed building it, and if you did, then please let me know what you think in the comments. Give this video a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll see you guys next time with even more awesome Lego creations, and thanks for watching.